Picture this. You're standing at the edge of your life, looking back at all the years that have passed, the dreams you chased, the goals you set, the promises you made to yourself. And here's the question that will haunt you if you're not careful. Did you live the life you were capable of living? Or did you settle for the life that was comfortable? Most people die at 25 but aren't buried until 75. They stop growing. They stop challenging themselves. They mistake activity for achievement and busyness for progress. But not you. Not after today. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't just motivational fluff. These are 8 psychological principles that Tony Robbins has spent decades perfecting. Principles rooted in neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and real-world results from millions of people who've transformed their lives. This isn't theory. This is the operating system for human achievement. So if you're ready to stop lying to yourself about why you haven't achieved your goals yet, if you're ready to take radical ownership of your future, and if you're willing to do what 95% of people won't do so you can live like 95% of people can't live, then let's dive in. The power of decision. The moment everything changes. Tony Robbins says it best. It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Not your conditions, not your circumstances, your decisions. Think about every major breakthrough in your life, your best relationship, your biggest achievement, your proudest moment. They all started with one thing, a decision, not a wish, not a hope, not a someday I'll try. A committed, unshakable decision. But here's what most people don't understand about decisions. The word decide comes from the Latin word decidere, which literally means to cut off. When you make a true decision, you cut off any possibility other than the one you've committed to. You burn the boats. You eliminate the escape routes. Most people don't make decisions. They make preferences. I'd prefer to lose weight. I'd like to start that business. I hope to improve my relationships. Preferences are wishes dressed up as intentions. They have no power because they require no sacrifice. The 3-part decision formula. Here's the psychological trick that changes everything. Every decision has 3 parts, and most people only use one. Part 1, what you will achieve. This is where most people stop. They decide they want something, and that's it. But that's not a decision. That's just a desire. Part 2, what you will sacrifice. This is where real decisions are made. What will you give up? What will you cut out? What will you say no to? Because every yes to something is a no to something else. You can't say yes to your health goals while saying yes to late-night fast food binges. You can't say yes to building wealth while saying yes to every impulse purchase. What are you willing to sacrifice? Part 3, what you will do immediately. Decision without action is just daydreaming. The moment you make a true decision, you take immediate action. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not when you feel ready. Now. Because action is the bridge between your inner world and your outer results. The neuroscience behind decisions. Here's what happens in your brain when you make a committed decision. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, suddenly starts finding resources, opportunities, and solutions you never noticed before. It's not that they weren't there. It's that your brain wasn't looking for them. When you're shopping for a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. They were always there, but now your brain is filtering for them. The same thing happens when you make a committed decision. Your brain becomes a heat-seeking missile for everything you need to achieve that goal. But it only works when the decision is real. Your brain knows when you're bullshitting yourself. It knows the difference between I'd like to and I must. And it only activates this filtering system when you cross that line from preference to commitment. Your first action step. Right now, think about one goal you've been dancing around. One thing you've been saying you want but haven't fully committed to. Now apply the 3-part formula. What will you achieve? Be specific. Not get in shape, but lose 30 pounds and run a 5K by June 15th. What will you sacrifice? What's got to go? Late night Netflix binges, sleeping in, toxic friends who pull you down, name it. What will you do immediately? Not tomorrow, today, right now. Even if it's just researching a gym membership or blocking out time in your calendar, do something, because action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. The identity shift. Who you need to become. Here's a truth that will revolutionize your life. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. You can set all the goals you want, but if your identity doesn't match those goals, you'll sabotage yourself every single time. Why? Because your brain is wired for consistency. It will do whatever it takes to make your actions match who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who's not good with money, you'll find a way to stay broke no matter how much you earn. If you see yourself as not a morning person, you'll hit snooze no matter how many alarm clocks you buy. If you see yourself as unlucky in love, you'll unconsciously push away healthy relationships. Your identity is the story you tell yourself about yourself, and that story is running your life like software runs a computer. The two types of people. Tony Robbins talks about how there are two types of people in this world, those who are playing to win and those who are playing not to lose. People playing not to lose are trying to avoid pain. They're focused on security, comfort, and staying safe. They say things like, "I just want to pay my bills," or "I just don't want to get hurt again." Their identity is built around protection. People playing to win are focused on growth, contribution, and possibility. They say things like, "I'm going to build something that matters," or "I'm going to master this skill no matter what it takes." Their identity is built around expansion. The crazy part? Both types of people will find exactly what they're looking for. Your brain is the most sophisticated technology in the universe, and it always delivers exactly what you program it to deliver. Rewriting your identity code. Here's the psychological trick. You don't change your identity by saying affirmations in the mirror. You change it by collecting evidence. Every time you do what the person you want to become would do, you cast a vote for that new identity. Every time. It doesn't matter if it's a big action or a small one. Your brain is counting votes, and when the evidence reaches a tipping point, your identity shifts. Want to become a writer? Don't just say, "I am a writer." Write. Every day, even if it's just 100 words, because writers write. And every time you write, you're proving to your brain that you're a writer. Want to become someone who's fit and healthy? Don't just visualize it. Go to the gym. Choose the salad over the burger. Go to bed early, because fit people do fit people things. And every time you make that choice, you're collecting evidence for your new identity. Want to become a successful entrepreneur? Don't just read about business. Start something. Take a small risk. Make an offer, because entrepreneurs take action in the face of uncertainty. And every time you do that, you're becoming the person you need to be to achieve the success you want. The 30-day identity challenge. Here's your challenge. Pick one identity you want to adopt, not 10. One. Maybe it's athlete, learner, leader, creator, or connector. Now, for the next 30 days, ask yourself one question before every decision. What would the person I'm becoming do right now? Not what you feel like doing, not what's easy. What would that person do? When your alarm goes off, what would an athlete do? When someone offers you a donut, what would a healthy person do? When you're scared to reach out to that potential client, what would a successful entrepreneur do? When you're too tired to work on your side project, what would a person committed to their dreams do? Ask the question. Take the action. Collect the evidence. Watch your identity shift. The power of state management. Your state controls everything. Here's something Tony Robbins discovered that changed everything. Your state, your emotional and physiological condition in any given moment, determines your performance more than any other factor. Think about it. Have you ever tried to make a good decision when you were exhausted, hungry, and stressed? How'd that work out? Have you ever tried to be creative when you were anxious and overwhelmed? Not easy, right? Your state controls your perception, your decision-making, your creativity, your resilience, and your ability to execute. Most people are victims of their state. They wait to feel motivated before taking action. They let their mood dictate their behavior. But high performers? They manage their state. They don't wait for motivation. They create it. They don't hope for energy. They generate it. They understand that physiology comes before psychology. The physiology first principle. Here's the psychological trick. You can't feel depressed in a physiology of excitement. You can't feel anxious in a physiology of confidence. Your body and mind are one system, and the fastest way to change your mental state is to change your physical state. This is why Tony Robbins jumps on trampolines, uses cold plunges, and moves his body with intensity. It's not a gimmick, it's neuroscience. When you change your body, you change your biochemistry. When you change your biochemistry, you change your emotions. When you change your emotions, you change your actions. When you change your actions, you change your results. Want to feel more confident? Stand up straight, pull your shoulders back, take deep breaths, move with purpose. Your brain takes cues from your body, and when your body says, "I'm confident," your mind believes it. Want to feel more energized? Move. Do jumping jacks. Go for a walk. Dance like nobody's watching. Motion creates emotion, always. Want to feel more grateful? Smile. Actually physically smile. Studies show that the mere act of smiling, even if you're forcing it, triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin. Your brain doesn't know if you're genuinely happy or just putting on a face. It releases the feel-good chemicals either way. The morning state stack. Here's a ritual that will change your life. Create a morning state stack, a series of activities designed to put you in a peak state before your day even begins. Step 1. Movement. 5 to 10 minutes of intense physical activity. Burpees, jumping jacks, running in place. Get your heart rate up and your blood flowing. Step 2. Breathing. 3 minutes of deliberate breathing. Tony uses a technique called breath of fire. Rapid, powerful breaths that oxygenate your blood and energize your system. But even simple deep breathing works. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Step 3. Gratitude. 3 minutes thinking about what you're grateful for. Not just listing things, actually feeling the gratitude in your body. This rewires your brain to look for the good in life instead of the problems. Step 4. Visualization. 3 minutes seeing yourself achieving your goals. But here's the key. Don't just see it, feel it. What does success feel like? What emotions come with it? Your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So when you visualize with emotion, you're actually training your brain for success. Step 5. Intention setting. 2 minutes declaring what you will create today. Not hope, not try, will. Today I will complete that proposal. Today I will have that difficult conversation. Today I will work out no matter what. Set your intentions with certainty. This entire routine takes 15-18 minutes, and it puts you in a state where you're ready to conquer the day instead of just surviving it. Emergency state breaks. Throughout your day, you'll face state crashes, a difficult email, a setback, an unexpected problem. Most people let these state crashes derail their entire day. High performers take state breaks. 2 minutes to reset. Stand up, move your body, change your breathing. Ask yourself a better question. Instead of, "Why does this always happen to me?" Ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of, "Why am I so stressed?" Ask, "What's great about this situation that I'm not seeing?" Your brain will always answer whatever question you ask it, so ask better questions. The art of chunking. Why goals feel overwhelming. Here's why most people quit on their goals. They look at the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and they feel overwhelmed. The goal seems too big, too far away, too impossible. You want to lose 50 pounds, but you're staring at those 50 pounds like they're Mount Everest. You want to build $1 million business, but you've never made more than $60,000 a year. You want to write a book, but you're looking at 300 blank pages. The gap creates paralysis, and paralysis creates inaction, and inaction creates nothing. The chunking strategy. Here's the psychological trick that Tony Robbins uses to make any goal achievable. Chunking. You break down the massive goal into smaller chunks, specific, manageable actions that you can complete today. You don't focus on losing 50 pounds. You focus on losing 1 pound this week. You don't focus on building $1 million business. You focus on making your first $1,000. You don't focus on writing a 300-page book. You focus on writing 500 words today. When you chunk your goals down to daily actions, suddenly the impossible becomes possible. Because you're not asking yourself to climb Mount Everest. You're asking yourself to take one step. And you can always take one step. The reverse engineering process. Start with your ultimate goal. Be specific. I want to build a 6-figure coaching business by December 31st. Now reverse engineer it. What would have to happen in the 6 months before that? You'd need to have 10 consistent clients paying $1,000 a month. Okay, so that's your 6-month goal. What would have to happen in the 3 months before that? You'd need to have sold your first 5 clients and delivered amazing results. So that's your 3-month goal. What would have to happen this month? You'd need to create your offer, build a simple website, and start having sales conversations. That's your 1-month goal. What would have to happen this week? You'd need to write your offer, research your competitors, and reach out to 10 potential clients. That's your 1-week goal. What do you need to do today? Write for 2 hours and make 3 phone calls. That's your daily action. See how that works? The massive goal that seemed impossible becomes a series of daily actions that are totally achievable. You're not building a business. You're making 3 phone calls. That's not scary. That's doable. The power of micro commitments. Here's another psychological trick. Make micro commitments that are so small you can't fail. Don't commit to working out for an hour every day. Commit to putting on your workout clothes. That's it. Once the clothes are on, you'll probably work out. But even if you don't, you kept your commitment. And keeping commitments builds the most important muscle of all, your integrity with yourself. Don't commit to writing a chapter. Commit to writing for 10 minutes. Don't commit to making 50 sales calls. Commit to making 1. Don't commit to eating healthy all day. Commit to making 1 healthy choice at your next meal. The micro commitment gets you in motion, and motion builds momentum, and momentum makes everything easier. The proximity principle. You are the average. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Tony Robbins took that idea and ran with it. He built his entire career by getting in proximity to people who were already where he wanted to be. This isn't motivational talk. This is neuroscience. Mirror neurons in your brain literally mimic the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs of the people around you. You absorb the energy, standards, and expectations of your peer group whether you realize it or not. If you're surrounded by people who complain, you'll complain. If you're surrounded by people who gossip, you'll gossip. If you're surrounded by people who make excuses, you'll make excuses. Not because you're weak, because you're human. But here's the flip side. If you surround yourself with people who take massive action, you'll take massive action. If you surround yourself with people who think big, you'll think big. If you surround yourself with people who demand excellence, you'll demand excellence from yourself. The proximity audit. Right now, think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not the people you wish you spent time with. The people you actually spend time with. Are they lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they inspiring you or draining you? Are they challenging you to grow or enabling you to stay comfortable? Be brutally honest, because your life is reflecting their influence whether you like it or not. Now here's the hard part. You might need to create some distance from people you care about, not because they're bad people, but because they're not aligned with where you're going. This doesn't mean you cut everyone off, but it does mean you become more intentional about who gets your time and energy. It means you stop going to the Friday happy hour that always turns into complaining about work. It means you stop hanging out with the friend who always has a reason why things won't work out. It means you protect your mindset like your life depends on it, because it does. Strategic proximity. Here's the strategy. You need 3 types of people in your life. Type 1. People ahead of you. These are your mentors, coaches, and models. They've already achieved what you want to achieve. They can see your blind spots. They can save you years of trial and error. Get in their proximity however you can. Read their books. Listen to their podcasts. Attend their events. Hire them if possible. Model their strategies. Type 2. People beside you. These are your peers and partners. They're on the same journey you are. They get it. They understand the challenges because they're facing them too. These are the people you can be vulnerable with, collaborate with, and support through the journey. Find your tribe. Type 3. People behind you. These are people you're mentoring and helping. Teaching forces you to clarify your thinking. Leading forces you to raise your standards. When you're responsible for helping someone else, you show up differently. You don't just do it for yourself anymore. You do it because someone's watching. Build all 3 levels and watch your growth accelerate. The power of questions. Questions shape reality. Tony Robbins says, "The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask." This might be the most underrated success principle ever discovered. Your brain is a question-answering machine. Whatever question you ask, your brain will search for an answer. Ask a disempowering question, get a disempowering answer. Ask an empowering question, get an empowering answer. Why does this always happen to me? Your brain will find reasons. You'll come up with a whole story about bad luck, unfair circumstances, and all the ways life is stacked against you. What can I learn from this situation? Your brain will find lessons. Suddenly, the same situation becomes a growth opportunity instead of a tragedy. Same situation, different question, completely different result. The morning power questions. Here's a ritual that Tony Robbins uses every morning. He asks himself empowering questions to set the tone for his day. These aren't just random feel-good questions. They're strategically designed to create a peak state and focus his mind on what matters. Question 1. What am I happy about in my life right now? This immediately shifts your focus to gratitude and abundance. Your brain starts scanning for the good instead of the problems. Question 2. What am I excited about in my life right now? Excitement creates energy. When you focus on what excites you, you activate the part of your brain responsible for motivation and drive. Question 3. What am I proud of in my life right now? Pride builds confidence. When you acknowledge your wins, even small ones, you reinforce the identity of someone who achieves things. Question 4. What am I grateful for in my life right now? Gratitude is the antidote to anxiety, depression, and fear. You can't be grateful and stressed at the same time. Your nervous system won't allow it. Question 5. What am I committed to in my life right now? This question brings clarity and focus. It reminds you of your mission and what you're building toward. Question 6. Who do I love and who loves me? Connection is what makes life meaningful. This question reminds you that you're not alone and that you have people who matter to you and care about you. Answer these 6 questions every morning, not just once. Multiple rounds. Feel the answers. Let them sink into your body. This ritual alone will transform your life. The problem-solving question. When you face a challenge, and you will, most people ask terrible questions. Why me? Why is this so hard? What if I fail? These questions program failure. They focus your mind on the problem instead of the solution. High performers ask different questions. How can I solve this? What would I need to believe to make this easy? Who has already solved this problem that I can learn from? What's the opportunity hidden in this challenge? These questions program success. They focus your mind on possibilities, resources, and solutions. Here's the most powerful problem-solving question Tony Robbins uses. What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? This question removes the mental constraints that limit your thinking. Suddenly you're thinking bigger, bolder, and more creatively. Try it right now. Think about your biggest goal or challenge. Now ask yourself, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? Whatever answer comes up, that's probably what you should be doing. The momentum principle. Motion creates emotion. Here's a truth that will save you years of waiting around. You don't need to feel motivated to take action. You need to take action to feel motivated. Most people have it backwards. They wait until they feel like it. They wait until they're inspired. They wait until conditions are perfect. And they wait forever. High performers understand that motivation is a result, not a requirement. They take action first, and the motivation follows. Because motion creates emotion. Always. Think about it. Have you ever not wanted to work out, but once you started, you felt energized and glad you did it? Have you ever not wanted to start a project, but once you got into it, you entered flow and hours disappeared? That's the momentum principle in action. The 5-minute rule. Here's the psychological trick. Commit to 5 minutes. That's it. Tell yourself you'll work on the thing for just 5 minutes, and then you can stop. The genius of this approach is that 5 minutes isn't scary. Your brain doesn't resist 5 minutes. So you start. And once you start, the momentum takes over. Usually, you won't stop at 5 minutes. You'll keep going, because starting was the hard part. But even if you do stop at 5 minutes, you still win. Because you kept your commitment. You built momentum. You moved the needle forward. And tomorrow, those 5 minutes will be easier because you already proved you can do it. The compound effect of daily action. Tony Robbins talks about how most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. The same principle applies to daily action. One workout won't transform your body, but 365 workouts will. One sales call won't build your business, but 1,000 sales calls will. One page won't write your book, but writing 1 page a day for a year gives you a 365-page manuscript. The compound effect is the principle that small, consistent actions over time create massive results. But most people quit before the compound effect kicks in because they don't see immediate results. Here's what they don't understand. Success is not linear. For months, it feels like nothing's happening. You're working hard, taking action, and seeing minimal results. This is the valley of disappointment that every successful person goes through. But if you keep going, you hit the inflection point. Suddenly everything accelerates. The results compound. The momentum builds. And what seemed impossible months ago becomes inevitable. The question is, will you keep going through the valley? Will you trust the process when you can't see the results yet? Will you take action today even though the payoff might be months or years away? That's what separates people who achieve extraordinary things from people who stay average. The implementation formula. Here's how to build unstoppable momentum. Step 1. Start ridiculously small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Pick one action, one habit, one commitment. Make it so small you can't fail. Step 2. Do it every day. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Better to work out for 10 minutes every day than 2 hours once a week. The daily repetition builds the neural pathways and creates the identity shift. Step 3. Track your progress. What gets measured gets managed. Use a habit tracker, a journal, or a simple checklist. Every time you complete the action, mark it down. Seeing the streak builds momentum and motivation. Step 4. Never break the chain twice. You'll miss days. Life happens. But never miss twice in a row. Missing once is an exception. Missing twice is the beginning of a new habit, a bad one. Get back on track immediately. Step 5. Increase gradually. Once the habit is locked in, usually after 30-60 days, increase the intensity or add a new habit, but not before. Master the fundamentals first. The ultimate leverage. The power of massive action. Here's the final psychological trick, and it's the one that changes everything. Massive action. Most people take average action and wonder why they get average results. They send out a few resumes and wonder why they're not getting job offers. They post on social media once in a while and wonder why they're not building an audience. They go to the gym occasionally and wonder why they're not seeing results. Average action creates average results. Every single time. Tony Robbins built his career on the principle of massive action. When he wanted to become a great speaker, he didn't give a few speeches. He gave hundreds. When he wanted to help people, he didn't coach a few clients. He coached thousands. When he wanted to build a business, he didn't make a few calls. He made hundreds of calls a day. Massive action creates massive results. But more importantly, massive action creates massive learning. You get feedback faster. You improve faster. You discover what works faster. And you build unstoppable momentum. The 10x rule. Here's how to apply this. Whatever you think you need to do to achieve your goal, multiply it by 10. You think you need to make 10 sales calls? Make 100. You think you need to apply to 5 jobs? Apply to 50. You think you need to post on social media once a day? Post 10 times a day. Most people underestimate the effort required to achieve their goals by a factor of 10. Then they get discouraged when their small efforts don't produce big results. But when you take 10x action, 3 things happen. First, you outwork your competition. While everyone else is doing the minimum, you're going all out. You become impossible to ignore. Second, you compress time. What would normally take years happens in months because you're iterating so much faster. Third, you build confidence. Every action you take is evidence that you're the kind of person who follows through. Your identity shifts, and when your identity shifts, everything shifts. The no excuse zone. Here's the final truth. Every excuse you make is a decision not to succeed. I don't have time. That's a decision. You have time. You're just prioritizing other things. I don't have money. That's a decision. Plenty of people have started with nothing. What you're really saying is you're not willing to be uncomfortable. I don't know how. That's a decision. We live in the information age. Everything you need to know is available. What you're really saying is you're not willing to figure it out. Tony Robbins says, if you're not getting the results you want, it's not because you don't have the ability. It's because you haven't found the strategy yet. And you haven't found the strategy because you haven't committed to doing whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. That's the level of commitment required for extraordinary results. Not, I'll try. Not, I'll do my best. Not, I'll see what happens. Whatever it takes. The decision is yours. So here we are. You've learned 8 psychological tricks that can transform your life. 1. The power of decision. Making committed decisions and taking immediate action. 2. The identity shift. Becoming the person you need to be to achieve what you want. 3. State management. Controlling your physiology and psychology to perform at your peak. 4. Chunking. Breaking down massive goals into manageable daily actions. 5. Proximity. Surrounding yourself with people who elevate your standards. 6. The power of questions. Asking empowering questions that focus your mind on solutions. 7. The momentum principle. Taking action to create motivation instead of waiting for it. 8. Massive action. Doing 10x more than you think is necessary to compress time and outwork everyone else. These aren't secrets, they're principles, and principles work 100% of the time when you apply them. But here's the thing, knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can watch this video, get inspired, feel good, and then go back to your old patterns. Or you can make a different choice. You can decide, truly decide, that today is the day everything changes. That you're done settling, done making excuses, done playing small. You can become the person you've always known you could be. You can achieve the goals you've been afraid to admit you want. You can live the life that most people only dream about. But it requires a decision. Not tomorrow. Not Monday. Not when you feel ready. Now. So what's it going to be? Are you going to be part of the 95% who watch this, feel inspired for a few hours, and then go back to their old life? Or are you going to be part of the 5% who actually implement these principles and transform their life? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. Tony Robbins says, the only impossible journey is the one you never begin. So begin. Today. Right now. Your future self is waiting, and they're counting on you to make the right decision. Now go out there and make it happen. If this video helped you, drop a comment below telling me which of these 8 tricks resonated most with you and what goal you're committed to achieving. Remember, your life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change, and change starts with decision.